In the face of overwhelming obstacles, fear, corruption, and the unlikeliest of circumstances, these four women refused to back down. They chose to fight for justice even when the odds were stacked against them. This is their story. You're watching CrimeFacts, where we share the most courageous and inspiring true crime tales. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a new episode. Now let's dive into these incredible journeys of resilience.
Our first story takes us to Philadelphia, a city where the crime rate is high and the unsolved murder rate even higher. In April 2016, 26-year-old RJ Pantoja was gunned down outside a nightclub. His death seemed like just another statistic in a city where murder investigations often go cold. But RJ's mother, Lisa Espinosa, was not going to let her son's killer fade into obscurity. From the moment she heard the news, Lisa knew it would be an uphill battle. Philadelphia had a notorious no-snitch culture, and the police weren't making much headway. Lisa was determined to get justice for her son, and no one, not even the threat of danger, was going to stop her. She began by tracking down every lead she could, speaking with witnesses, and even staking out some of RJ's old friends who might know something. Lisa's relentless pursuit of the truth paid off when she eventually found a video online showing RJ and his friends in a heated argument before the fatal shooting. With this new information, Lisa kept pushing, confronting anyone who might know something. Her fight wasn't just for her son's killer, it was for every other victim whose case had gone cold. In the end, Lisa's tenacity led to a breakthrough, and although justice was delayed, the case was reopened. She proved that a mother's love and determination could overcome any obstacle.
Next, we turn to a story of survival, revenge, and a woman who decided that the system wasn't going to provide justice for her. A mother of two was living in a small town when she was brutally assaulted by a man named Richard Farley. Farley had been stalking her for years, but the authorities had failed to act. After several failed attempts to get a restraining order and countless police visits that led nowhere, she realized that the law wasn't going to protect her. Farley was unpredictable, and his harassment had become increasingly violent. One night, after another violent encounter, had had enough. She couldn't rely on the system, and she knew she couldn't live in fear anymore. In a moment of desperation and anger, she took matters into her own hands. She grabbed a firearm and confronted Farley. The encounter ended with Farley dead and in police custody. But in the court of public opinion, her actions were seen as a form of justice, one that had been denied to her for years. While Wendy ultimately served time, her story raised crucial questions about victim rights and how the system often fails to protect those who need it most. Courage to defend herself made waves, forcing society to rethink how we handle stalking, harassment, and the rights of victims.
Marie Hilley's story is one that illustrates the chilling reality of a woman whose quest for power led her to commit terrible crimes. For years, she was known as a loving wife and mother, but she was hiding a dark, dangerous secret. In the 1970s, Marie Hilley poisoned her husband Frank, and after he passed away, she didn't stop. She set her sights on her daughter Carol, who was nearly killed by the same method. Marie's ability to manipulate those around her was almost as dangerous as her use of poison. She had gotten away with murder, at least for a time, by using her charm to deflect suspicion. But Marie's daughter Carol was determined not to let her mother get away with it. As Carol grew older, she began putting the pieces together, realizing that her mother had been behind the deaths of several people in their family. With no one else willing to believe her, Carol began her own investigation. Her persistence paid off. Carol was able to gather evidence that finally led to Marie's arrest. In 1982, after years of covering up her actions, Marie Hilley was caught and convicted of her crimes. Marie Hilley's story is a haunting reminder of how a woman's quiet pursuit of control can lead to devastation, and how the truth always finds a way to come to light.
Our last story takes us back to one of the most infamous unsolved murders in American history, the case of Elizabeth Short, known as the Black Dahlia. Short's grisly murder remains one of the most haunting mysteries, but it's the women in her life who brought a new perspective to the investigation. In the 1940s and 1950s, when Elizabeth was killed, women were rarely given a voice in criminal investigations. The police were dismissive of the public's potential to help with solving cases, particularly those of women. However, in the 1960s, 3 women, Betty Lou Jensen, Jean Reeder, and Ann S. McCarthy, took it upon themselves to gather evidence and raise awareness about Elizabeth Short's case. They combed through police files, interviewed witnesses, and even contacted journalists demanding the truth. Their determination to uncover the truth led to new theories, suspect profiles, and eventually a fresh set of eyes on the case. Though the case remains unsolved, it was these women's efforts that revitalized interest in the case, reminding the world that justice is sometimes a battle fought by the persistent and those who refuse to let go of the truth.
These 4 women, Lisa Espinosa, Marie Hilley, and the trio of unsung heroes of the Black Dahlia Case, each proved that sometimes justice isn't something handed to you, it's something you have to fight for. They each took a stand in different ways, some through sheer courage, others through relentless investigation, and a few through acts of self-defense. They knew that the system wasn't always going to provide justice, so they took matters into their own hands. Their stories show us that justice is a powerful force, but sometimes it requires us to become the instruments of that justice.
Thank you for joining us today on Crime Facts. If you were inspired by these incredible women and their unyielding pursuit of justice, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to keep up with more true crime stories that are both shocking and inspiring. Remember, sometimes justice doesn't come easily, but when we fight for it, anything is possible. Stay tuned for more amazing stories, and as always, stay safe.